we have two jobs, one that we are in the process of trying to execute on, and the other is kind of the same drum that I've been beating for, for a while. That we've been doing this for 12 years, so we're both in the business of building software to help these small businesses launch or scale a business. But then I also have to do a good job of relaying back to our customers the things that we've learned along the way, not only just building our own business, but rubbing shoulders with and seeing behind the scenes of 100,000 businesses online. And the one piece of advice that I would say is probably the most important piece of advice that I give. Hopefully, it's the most listened to. I don't know if it is, but it's this bridge analogy of so many, especially people early on, they have 100 different ideas, and now with AI, you actually can like have fun and build all of them 80% of the way. And I think that's part of like what drives entrepreneurs is we're builders. We like to just make things happen out of nothing. So it's kind of fun, even if we're not finishing anything, to build 100 things at once. But at some point, you have to finish a bridge to get any results. Like otherwise, you just got people driving off the bridge and dying in the river. And that's the analogy that I always try to use is, look, I know you have these 3 different product ideas. Each one of them, you're trying to get LinkedIn working here, X working here, Facebook ads working here. You got 15 products that are 20% of the way done. Just pick one. And I don't even care which one it is, because almost any business can work. And our advice to people when they're starting out is, remember, whatever you're about to execute on, whatever this business is, there's a good chance you're not running this business in 5 years. Like a lot of folks, they cut their teeth with something that might not have been the best idea, or they just maybe they didn't execute as well as they could have because they're brand new at this. Like, a 2-year-old doesn't just start, running around the house, crawl, walk, run. And it's the same thing in business where that was my story. I started this baseball site. I loved it. I'm glad I went with that niche and focus because at least while the business was struggling for 18 months, it made no money at all. And I'm learning how to set up hosting and buy domains and build WordPress blogs and run ads and create products. And 18 months in, I had no sales at all. The next year, I think I made like $6,000. But in the process of learning all of that, I kind of just fell in love with doing business on the internet, building businesses. And I got really good at a couple like marketing techniques. Facebook ads was brand new at the time. I got really good at that. And so then we had this idea for this other product or this other business really that I liked more as a business than the baseball one. And so now I kind of got to hit reset with 2 years of experience. And that next business did $1 million in the first year. And if I would have tried to start the second business that hit $1 million in the first year, if I tried to start that first because I was chasing the money and that was the bigger market opportunity, it would have probably failed because I didn't have the skills I needed yet. So it's like, look, pick one thing, go all in and execute and try to finish the bridge. Because even if you build a crappy bridge, you're going to learn so much in the process. Instead of just doing the same first 20% of 15 different ideas, you're not learning anything. You're just learning how to do the first 20% well. And that part doesn't matter. Like you got to learn how to finish the project. So that's the drum that I'm constantly trying to beat with beginners. And unfortunately now you got to beat it even louder because
Yeah.
it's now like just so easy to get distracted and spin up new websites and marketing campaigns and, product ideas. In an afternoon, you could spin up 10 if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think that the blessing of today is, outside of AI, is that we have access to more people than ever we can listen and learn from. And so I can't remember all the numbers that you mentioned on your raises, but y'all have raised a lot of money, right? And so you can listen to someone like yourself and go, oh, cool. Well, that doesn't mean exactly how y'all are doing it is what the $10 million a year plumber should be doing, right? Like he's got a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
different construction. And so there's lessons that you can learn, but taking that and going, okay, how do I implement this in my business? And I do think that we struggle with shiny objects, as you mentioned. And then we have access to all these people who do amazing stuff. You're like, oh, I
I
should
know.
do this. I should do this. And the benefit of someone like you, though, is because you have raised money, and you guys have raised a lot of money, you're having to show investors why they should invest in your company, which is similar to exiting because at some point they got to buy your company, right? And so they're not buying it
Yep.
out completely. So it's not the same, but it's very similar. And so I think a lot of owners would be more happy even if they didn't want to sell, if they just understood what it took to exit a business for a premium. You can, I'm a capitalist, you can exit anything for anything, so I get that. But for a real exit, I'm talking about something that you're satisfied with. If you just focus on that and you go back and said, well, wait, we have all this AI, we have all these tools. It's easier now if you're an owner than ever before in history, I'm convinced of, to build a business that you can pay people well and you can enjoy lifestyle freedom. And then if you want to
Yep.
sell someday, great. If you don't want to sell, great. And so because you guys have raised money, you've had to check a lot of boxes that a lot of small business owners don't even know exist. And so
Yeah.
it,
Yep.
so the shiny object's fine. I get that. We all have that struggle. But to your point about finishing the bridge, is like just build the business out the right way and you'll be stunned at how much happier you are, and you can
Yeah.
then leverage AI to make the business more profitable. And so it can tie in once you kind of understand what's going on in the market. But I think a lot of small business owners on the, well, the SMB world, as we call it, on Twitter at least, um, they get caught up in all this other stuff. It's like, guys, if you just built out what I'd call an exit ready business, man, your life's so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a funny thing that it took me a while to learn, but you realize so many entrepreneurs. Yeah, I mean, you could be at zero revenue. You could be, I've seen them up to multiple millions a year. They are overwhelmed, drained, and half their brain hates their own business. And and that business is most likely impossible to sell or to sell for something you'd be happy with. So it's like you kind of have two options. Like you build a business that you hate and you can't really sell it and get rid of it or step away at all, or you can build a business that is built the right way and you actually love working there and you could also exit the thing. Like usually you have to like pick and choose, like I want to love it and or I want to sell it. But it's really an either or, and it just takes the skill of understanding how what kind of business would somebody want to buy. And if you sat down and like asked yourself, I think the best exercise to do is sit down, look at your own business as if you have nothing to do with it. Would you buy it? and and if the answer is no, make a list of why. Like and what would make you chomp at the bit to buy that business, and then go build those things out. um I kind of get a taste of that outside of Samcart. My mother-in-law has run a dance studio in our hometown for 40 years. My wife grew up dance professionally. She now runs the business with her mom. And a couple years ago, I started. Well, it's more now. So my oldest is 11. When my oldest started dancing there at 2, this was right. It wasn't like the '08 crash, but it was kind of the '08 stuff really hurt that business, and it kind of just lingered for a while. And my first child is now going into this dance studio, and you could tell it's just kind of a struggling business. And you go to their site, there's not that many people there. And I'm like, man, I know I could blow this business up. Like I know internet marketing better than almost anybody alive. I could probably run a few Facebook ads and just double this thing. So we're on a family vacation. I'm at the beach and I fire up Facebook and I think through messaging, rewrite all their messaging to actually stand out in a crowded market of 10 dance studios within 10 miles. And which is very easy to do when you're competing against a local business because everybody's messaging sucks. So I spin it up, and within 90 days, we had gone from 110 students to like 250. And so I keep helping them out on marketing. But this was back in the day where I didn't understand really how to run a business or build one effectively. I just knew how to grow one. Like I can get people in the door. After that, the chaos is on you. I can't help with that. So fast forward to a couple years ago, now that Samcart's done really well, and the business is outgrowing its current space, which they don't even own. And we need to get them into a new building. But my mother-in-law doesn't have, the business doesn't have the cash it needs to really build out a beautiful space. So we bought into the business to officially kind of, make it a 50-50 split. and really get this business into a great new home that's top of the line, that lives up to, really what we want it to be. And AI, just in the last year, up until a year ago, I was the point man for everything, website related, marketing related, and I have a full business to run with 100 plus employees and a lot of stuff on my plate and 3 kids. And so it was like a nightmare. Like, oh, it snowed today, so we have no class. Someone's got to go update the website. I got to go into WordPress, remember my login, do all this stuff. AI now, with my OpenClaw sitting on my Mac Mini over here, they text me an update. I copy the text, I paste it into my Dance Studio business bot, and the website is changed instantaneously. They need an ad campaign because they're doing an open house. I get the text from them. I text it and hands it off to the Facebook ads bot who writes the ads, knows our copy, has all the creative, and spins it up. That business, I mean, would you rather buy the business where you're going to buy it from, me or whoever, and now you're sitting in that role and you got to update WordPress every other Thursday, or this new one where you can just sit back and the thing just churns? Um, what you said is spot on, that AI allows those things to happen. Profit margins go up. The machine of the business now can become an actual machine, without as many people involved. And that's an attractive business. I mean, that little dance studio now, could probably exit for a awesome number if we wanted to exit it. Revenue's up, profit margins are great, and it's fairly simple to run. Half the business kind of runs itself.